My next guest was one of the big winners last weekend at UFC Vegas 26, getting that first round finish over Donald Cowboy Cerrone. And it's Alex Morono joining me here on the program. Alex, how's it going?
Good. Always fun to come home after a win and kind of talk to the family and team. And it's so much better, especially with the kids at the gym coming home after a win. Because, like every child expects their coach to win every fight. And like when I lose, the fights that I've lost, I'm like, Coach, why did you win that fight? And it's just significantly more fun coming off the big victory.
Yeah, no, it's well-deserved. Epic performance. I actually wanted to ask you sort of leading in. We didn't have a chance to speak because I know it was kind of short notice. How much notice did you get for that fight? Because we knew Diego was out, and then we heard that you were going to be stepping in. How much notice did you have?
Like officially one day of training. I guess two. So Sunday and Monday. And then like unofficially Wednesday, I suppose, the Wednesday prior, I had put my name in the hat to replace him, but didn't hear anything back. But I did kind of like plan on it. I was like, just in case it does go down, which I didn't think it would, kind of stay ready. So like I started to like eat cleaner and I always was training hard. I didn't really change my training regimen much. The only difference was instead of like trying to emulate some of my fighters' opponents' styles, I stopped doing that and started like focusing on my strength. And I had a lot of success, and it was a good couple days. Was
it a bit of redemption as well? Because I know you fought Pettis. That was a big fight. I know you wanted to go in there and get that win, and now here you are fighting another notable name here in Cowboy. As soon as you got the matchup, where you're like, okay, I got to make this right now and get sort of that signature win on my resume.
I mean, yeah, that Pettis was a big opportunity, and I feel like I just barely missed it. In that fight, I had a pretty thorough game plan to try to wrestle. And I've never done that before, and like it made perfect sense. Like I'm not if anything, the reason was because of me. I froze up a bit and didn't pull the trigger. I learned my lesson from that loss. But had the game planned out, grapple him, did it phenomenally in training, and then when it came to implement it in the octagon, I just didn't want to. I was like I wanted to kickbox, but and in hindsight, I wish I would have just tried to outstrike him, as I feel like I could have, not easily, but successfully. And then going into the Cerrone fight, I was like, cool, I know I can outstrike these guys. And I wanted to like prove to myself that I could. And like I had no hesitation whatsoever. I was like down to start slinging punches.
One more thing just on the Pettis fight. How much were you impacted in that fight with the fact that Saif Saud couldn't corner you? I know that affected Jeff Neal in his fight because of Saif got COVID. Did that impact you at all, or was that a non-factor for you in the Pettis fight?
No, so I would have, he would have just been on my ass so much on the ground and on like throwing punches instead of just like looking for entries to shoot for takedowns, which like it's no secret is not my style at all. I genuinely feel if he was there, I would have won that fight. Or at least the outcome would have been different for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I wanted to ask, because I know for Jeff it was a big factor as well. But again, we're talking about the present. Huge win over Cowboy Cerrone. Anything at all that surprised you in the fight? It seemed like you had his number from the opening bell in terms of what you were going to do.
No, nothing really surprised me. I expected pretty thorough kicks. I know his entries on punches is pretty upright and more fast than like low and powerful. So like just really breaking the Muay Thai rhythm was my main goal. And I know how to do that. I've trained with a lot of really good Muay Thai guys in my day. I used to be a very heavy Muay Thai style striker, standing tall, used to kick primarily, but like the modern MMA game is very boxing heavy and very clinch heavy. And even in this kind of, not really game plan for this fight, but my coach was like, Morono, you need to avoid the clinch. He was like, you need to stay like inside of kick range, but out of clinch range. And I'm like, Coach, that can be hard to do. And I was like, and I said specifically, I was like, Coach, historically, I've always done very well in the clinch. I've never been outstruck in the clinch. Like I've never been hit with big elbows or big knees ever. And I've landed a lot of big shots. And I just have a really good like in-fight awareness of like where to put my hips, where to put my head in the clinch. And every time I clinch up in fights, I don't think about takedowns. I think about elbows and knees and now punches. And I actually thought I would beat him in the clinch, and I kind of did. And man, felt really good with it. There were actually a couple of like key strikes I was looking to set up in the clinch that we really didn't have time to kind of pursue. But I was really, really happy with my striking defense and my striking offense in that Cowboy fight.
You were really laying it on him. Was there any part of you worried about overexerting yourself? Because you never know, right? You don't want to go in there for the kill and then you've sort of gassed out and then the second round comes around and you're all out of energy. Did that cross your mind at all? Or you're just like, I got to finish this?
No, man, I actually felt so good. I remember I heard Coach Saif so clearly. He was like, you had a minute and a half left. And I was like, man, I feel 100%. Felt so comfortable, felt so solid. You know, there was a fair amount of clinch types too. I felt really strong in the clinch. And no, I actually planned on winning a decision. I planned on having to go out a decision. And anytime you plan on going the distance, that's when the finishes come. Whereas if I tried to force the action too much in the first, that's when you don't find it. So again, it was like a perfect storm of mindset and goals and like strategy, and paid off.
What are you going to do with the bonus?
So it's funny I say this, I'm very frugal. My wife and I are very frugal people. We always have budgets. My wife especially is like a financial wizard. You know, got our house paid off like a year sooner than I had thought we could get it done. You know, has done wonders in like investing in properties and you know, funding the new gym facility build out. And then I told her, I was like, Janice, we've been doing so well, you know, making money, saving money, investing money. And she's really into cars. You know, she's really into MMA and nice cars. And I'm not. I drive like a Honda Accord. I like my Hondas. But she's been like eyeballing those 2021 Corvettes, and they're nice. They look like Ferraris. And, you know, they're only about like 80 grand on the high side. They're crazy affordable considering it's a really nice luxury car. And I told her, I was like, hey, if I get this finish and get this bonus, we'll go buy a Corvette. So I have her looking for them. Man, we can't find any. We cannot find any to buy. I told her, I was like, hey, as soon as you find one that you like, let's get it. And so that's like the only big expense. I guess I paid my house off after a few fights, after a couple contracts. But this is the first time ever that we're doing like a substantial purchase. And, you know, I usually just buy gear after pretty much every fight. I buy a whole new crop of gear. But I have wholesale accounts with Venom and Ringside. So the gear is cheap. I'll spend like maybe $500 on the high side, and that's nothing. You know, it's nothing compared to the fight purse. So we're buying a Corvette. That's the first answer I get to give, and it's a fun one.
And last thing, I know you and Cowboy, you took the photo after the fight. What did he say to you? What was that conversation like post-fight?
Man, he was so cool. Even during fight week, I had run into him at the PI, and he was like very cool, said thank you for taking the fight. You know, even while I was getting to the bus, he was like, hey, man, like, have a good weight cut. I hope you sleep well. I knew he was like a cool guy. Walking into the fight was cool. Hearing Kid Rock play while he was walking out was an iconic moment. Before the fight, he was mad dogging me pretty hard. I was hoping for that. And then after the fight, he was like thoroughly disappointed. And I understand that sentiment. I've been there before. But he was cool. I mean, he took the loss on the chin, and you know, he was, you know, Cowboy is such a perfect name. He's like a hardened dude. You know, I'm sure he takes his wins well, takes his losses well. It was cool. Nothing too crazy. I didn't sit there and have a big conversation with him. Like when I lose, you know, when I lose fights, I don't like to be best friends with the guy. Like I got respect for him, but I kind of want to go my separate ways and then just work on getting better. But he was as like professional and like he was as gangster as it comes. It was cool.
Let's talk about this weekend's card, UFC 262 pay-per-view. Taking a couple hits, right? Diaz Edwards off the card. We just found out this week Edmund Shabazian and Jack Hermanson moved off as well. But there's 3 fights I wanted to talk about, which all things considered pretty good that these stayed intact. I want to start first with the featherweight fight. Shane Burgos taking on Edson Barboza right now on Fanduel. Shane Burgos, a minus 122 favorite. Edson Barboza, the comeback, plus 100. Who do you like in that fight? Who do you think gets it done?
So I really like watching Burgos fight. He's a huge 45er, but man, he's got such good hands. And then Barboza, always fun to watch. He got such good kicks. We'll see, man. Every time Barboza has like a fight where I'm like, man, this matchup's tough, dude, he always comes and delivers. I'm very glad they re-signed him. They're giving him a main card fight. You know what? That fight for me as a fan, it's a win-win. Whoever wins the fight is cool. I think I got a pull for Barboza only because he's kind of like that OG. He's given us so many awesome performances inside the octagon. But that's a fan service fight. I'm looking forward to that one and really rooting for both guys. That's kind of best case scenario.
Co-main event, Beneil Dariush, a minus 152 favorite over Tony Ferguson. Interesting fight here, right? A tale of two cases of, you know, Dariush kind of, you know, resurging in his career. He's getting towards that title shot. And Ferguson, he's got 2 losses, but they're against 2 of the best guys in the division. Where do you sit on this fight? Who do you think takes it?
T-Ferg has been and still is one of my like top 3 fighters that I love watching. It's funny that all lightweights, Poirier, Gaethje, and T-Ferg are just they're always so much fun to watch. I can't ever root against T-Ferg. Like even when he was fighting against Gaethje, I was like, I'd be happy if Gaethje won, but like you got to root for T-Ferg. Just the way he can throw his combinations, switch stances in the middle of a combination, finish the combination, and then exit back out. But man, Beneil Dariush, one of those guys, started as a grappler, has become a striker, and man, like has just put on bomb performance after the other. So I mean, that's another fan favorite fight for me. I've got to root for T-Ferg in that one.
Okay, and main event, Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler. Oliveira, the slight favorite right now at -134. Michael Chandler, the underdog, +110. Who are you liking in that fight for the vacant lightweight title?
Oliveira's the favorite. That's what I'm talking about. Same thing. That guy trained at Houston for a while over at Gold Team with Macaco. Another, resurgence, kind of phenom in that sense. Just, I'm rooting for Oliveira hard. I actually like Mike Chandler. I wasn't really aware of his presence much when he was in Bellator. Comes in the UFC, beats a Dan Hooker, a guy I really enjoy watching. Got a lot of respect for him. Man's a jock. The man's a super athlete. But I would really love to see Oliveira catch a finish, man. Like, his performance against Kevin Lee was awesome. That he would make a great champion. Plus him fighting T-Ferg, Dariush, Poirier, McGregor, or Gaethje was awesome. So that lightweight division's a shark tank, man. That's a fun top 5.
When are you looking to get back in there? I know this win's fresh, but I'm sure you have your eye on sort of when you're looking to get back in there. It didn't look like you got much damage in the fight at all, if anything.
None at all. I'm training tonight. Actually, I'm teaching a jiu-jitsu class at 6, and I'm going to roll with my boys, my students. Really, anytime there was that. There were a few welterweight matchups that I called my coach. I was like, "Hey, coach, if anyone drops off, I'll take him." Sanchez Cowboy was one. Matt Brown versus Diego Lima is another one of those fights. I know both guys have had injuries in the past. They're not notorious for pulling out. But if either guy backs out of that fight, I would love to take the person left. I'd love a fight against Carlos Condit or Robbie Lawler or Randy Brown. I know a lot of people were mentioning that. My boy Ricky Tercios is in the Ultimate Fighter house right now. He was there live watching the fights. I got to see him. They don't have any social media. He just saw me randomly in Vegas fighting. We had such a cool moment after the fight. I'm confident he'll make it to the finale. And I know he's going to be fighting on the finale. I would love to fight alongside him on that finale. I don't care against who.
Gotcha. When is that finale? I guess it would be in September, I think. I
believe it's in September.
Because they're kind of, I think, aiming Volkanovski and Ortega to fight then, I think. I could be wrong on that, but yeah.
It'd be a cool fight card to be on all the same.
So you're back training tonight. What does the rest of the week look like? Enjoying some nice food, I would imagine, just because, you had the short fight and all that. And anything interesting this week on the docket?
You know what? I'm always so motivated to accomplish my errands. I put a lot of stuff off in fight camp. Thankfully, this fight camp was a week, so I didn't have much time to put off. That's why I love my wife. She deals with, because I'll procrastinate hard if I'm in camp. Anything I'll do after the fight. So once the fight's finished, man, I put in a bunch of wholesale orders at the gym. I get work done on my car. I get stuff done around the house. So we're driving up to a dealership. Two of my students, they're like the managers over at this Honda Spring, this Team Gilman Honda. So we're gonna drop our cars off, get some work done, go eat lunch and just get some stuff done. But no, I mean, just training still. This Sunday there's a Fury Fighting Championship fight card I'm doing. Right. I do the commentary for that promotion, and it'll be on Fight Pass. And one of my students who I was getting ready for a title fight, the reason my conditioning was so good for the Cowboy fight short notice, is fighting on Sunday in front of Dana White. He won his belt with a straight left-hand knockout 2 fights ago. He defended his belt with a left high kick knockout 1 fight ago, and I expect him to get a late championship round finish in this fight. He's got a really tough young Mexican opponent who's just iron Mexican tough. I know this fight's going to be a banger. And man, after I beat Cerrone, we called him and he was like, I know I can do this. I was like, it's your time, man. If I can beat Cowboy on 1 week's notice, you can beat anyone. So we're very pumped. We're very pumped for this week. It's a good fight card too. If you're into the Houston MMA scene, all of Houston's best are fighting. It's a fun one.
Yeah, there's so many fighters that have come out of Fury FC that I can remember. Ike Villanueva's one. I know Adrian Yanez, I believe, fought for them as well. It's a really good showcase, and I love how they're on Fight Pass now because that's that's a promotion that's deserved some shine for a while. You quickly mentioned commentary. How's that going for you? Is that something you see as a potential career, or just something you like doing on the side?
I really enjoy doing it locally. I've trained with most of the guys on the card. Like around Houston, I contact the best fighters around town, and I get rounds in with them and train with them. I've created a lot of good alliances and friends and training partners. Like Trevin Giles, one of my main training partners here in Houston when I'm training, when I'm not in Dallas. And no, like as much fun as it would be doing it in the UFC, I wouldn't want to travel. I hate not being home. I hate not teaching my classes, not being with my family. So no, I do it on the side because of the fight. The place is 20 minutes away. But no, I'm definitely a fighter and trainer over anything else.
Alex, thanks so much for the time. I know you got a busy week of errands and all that other stuff. In the meantime, though, if you got any sponsors or social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, after the Cowboy fight, quadrupled my social media impact, and everyone seems to be very positive. The reason I wasn't really on social media is I hear all the horror stories and see all the nasty comments, and man, I get almost none. Even leading up to the Cowboy fight, people were cool. Were like, hey, you know, I want Cowboy to win, but it's cool you stepped up, like, respect. And I know what I signed up for in that one, and people were so cool. I got so many positive messages. I really try to respond to all of them. I've been answering Instagram message requests for like 3 days straight now. And so I'm going to start being a little more active, and everything's easy. It's just Alex Morono, MMA. You know, if you had any martial arts questions, you know, please shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer. It may take me some time to get back to you, but I do try to get back to everybody.